What I think is really odd, an odd statement that I heard continuously growing up, is everyone in other countries will know English anyways, which is not true. Before this past summer, I'd never traveled anywhere where English was not the prominent language. I took an environmental science course that included an embedded experience in the Costa Rican rainforest this summer. We visited a biological research station, and there were people from all over the world speaking a variety of languages. Although most people were not able to communicate in English, locals knew little to no English, making it difficult to communicate with the people who actually lived there, which is where I could have learned about culture. However, I noticed that there are other aspects of communication involved. The fact that people can communicate without having to speak the same language, that facial expressions and body language are the main factor in conversing with locals. I came to a realization that some aspects of language are universal. There is much more to language than just the spoken tongue. I use different language practices around different people, mostly switching from formal to informal language depending on the people and the environment. I wouldn't talk to a friend in the same way I speak with a professor or employer, just as I wouldn't talk to an acquaintance in the same way I would chat with my sister. Around different people and in different environments, I switch my language practices. I'd assumed this was just the normal way of going about the world, and I don't even notice when I'm switching within various practices. These language practices, were learned at a young age from my family, schooling, friends, workplace, and social environment. Language practices are deeply intertwined with manners and cultural ways of interacting with others, like saying, "Nice to meet you," "Please and thank you," holding a door open for another person, and smiling politely, even when someone says something that frustrates me, and avoiding confrontation. This is most likely from the long line of people in my family. These practices and language and culture have been passed down for generations and usually remain unthought of by everyone in my family. These are derived and influenced by the funds of knowledge that have been passed down that are addressed in the Mole and Gonzalez article. Some specific practices include: don't speak when someone else is speaking, don't interrupt, don't talk unless called upon, always raise your hand, answer the phone politely. And these language practices will continue to influence me in the future.